I want to try to explain something that's very complex in as simplistic as a form as I can. The globalists want to create 3 mega regions with 10 subregions, destroy the original sovereignty of each country, and replace it with a regional government that then only deals with sub-districts within the original area. So I want cultural, racial, religious, or historical states, not because they're perfect, but because next to the globalist, synthetic, New World Order blob, it's a firewall or a redoubt. I would love to see Texas at this point secede from the Union and form its own republic and control our own borders. We would be wealthy beyond our wildest dreams. America's already gone. It's already been taken over by the globalists. We could reestablish the republic here in Texas and then set up a new state federation with other states as it went. I'm sorry, America's already captured by the globalists. If we could get the republic back, I would want to do it. But at this point, I'm all for Texas secession. That's why the feds ran underground kooky groups early on to make the idea look bad so no one would accept it. Now it's more popular than ever. Major polls show a majority of Texans want to secede right now. Scotland's actually doing it and is set to vote next week. The Queen has said, don't you dare do it, and freaked out about it. The Prime Minister, oh my gosh. Look, I've got Scottish, British, you name it, German background. I don't have a dog in the fight. I would be for Welsh independence. I would be for Irish independence from the EU and the globalist. I am for people being independent. And when you've got something based on a culture and a history, that is far better having the people control their oil and natural gas and state properties of the people than the globalist and the Transylvanian king and queen. They literally are Transylvanian. Nothing against Romanians, just they're not even German. And so Scottish John joins us. We're going to go to break and come back with him. And, of course, born to an Irish mother and Scottish father. I won't read his whole bio. Growing up in Scotland and then in Ireland, he then traveled the world and worked in manufacturing and in industry. Then he became an actor, coming to Texas, moving back to London. He's been all over the place. But working in the Philippines, he met a lot of Texans. That's why he moved here. And I've just kind of boiled that down. We're going to break in a moment. But it's got to be over a decade I've run into you out at Second Amendment demonstrations, property rights demonstrations, Scottish John. And so now you're here. You got a promo that runs with us talking about standing up against the New World Order. And how long have you been in Austin?
I've been in Austin 16 years, Alex. And I first met you when you were showing your movie 9/11 Road to Tyranny.
So 12 years ago.
There you go. Yeah. I'd just finished working for Mike Hansen at the time. And we met in the Alamo Draft House that night down on there.
Did we have a pint?
No, we didn't. It's like, if we'd gone for a pint, we'd probably still have been sitting there bevying and yakking.
Oh, man. Well, anyways, you're hearing me get all wound up and rant through all this news.
I know.
I'm always exhausted after the show, but that's what I do. But when we come back, I'm going to try to give you the floor to break down some of the basics of Scotland, what independence means. They've now got big banks trying to pull their money out and stuff. They tried to do that to Iceland as well. But the Vikings stood their ground. And so I do support independence, but the Scots have got to watch out because the globalist will come back in other ways.
Absolutely.
But this is the way to go. This is the way to get out of the New World Order, is to secede from it. Well, the New York Times came out yesterday and said all over the world, millions are hitting the streets in Catalonia and Spain, you name it, saying they want secession as well. So the whole world's watching what's happening in Scotland. From Texas to Spain, it's happening, and Scottish John is here. Tell us about that song, why you wanted to air that. Tell us about the name Scottish John, and then get into what's really happening with Scottish independence. And you were telling me off air all the dirty tricks they're running, trying to stop you guys from getting away from the UK. Why wouldn't you get away from England? I mean, it took England 500, 600 years to finally conquer by force. And then you can go back to Bannockburn in 1314, beating them for a while. I mean, this is, I just can't believe that, that Scotland would ever be under the UK.
Yeah. Well, that song, Alex, is a song called Letter from America by a couple of brothers called Craig and Charlie Reid. And it was written in the 80s as a result of what was happening to industry back home as a result of Thatcher's policies. And we were losing all our jobs. Industry was being shut down, and people, in order to find a job, were having to go wherever they could. Some people went to America. I ended up going to the Philippines because the industry that I was in, I could get work there because my industry in particular, which was the textile industry, was all being shipped out to the Far East where labour was very cheap. But of course, they needed people with experience and skill so I ran a couple of factories out in Manila in the Philippines. I came back after 2 years of that and saw the explosion of unemployment figures, and it's really shocking. And basically, this was a specific plan to shut down manufacturing in Britain, and
now they've done it here.
Yeah, that shocked me when I came here. I guess, like most people, I thought America was different.
And now the robots are going to replace the people, and the globalists say they've got a plan to just get rid of us.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I guess, like most people, when I started hearing language like that years ago, you think, it's crazy. But when you think about it now, no, they have no need for us. Absolutely no need for us.
Tell me about your T-shirt.
My T-shirt is it's just an acknowledgement of the Battle of Bannockburn. It was a battle that Robert the Bruce won where Scotland gained independence.
And of course, William Wallace paved the way for that.
Yeah. And just on that note, William Wallace, one of his famous victories with the Battle of Stirling Bridge. Now, in this shenanigans that's going on at home at the moment, somebody spray painted a swastika on Stirling Bridge. And that is just disgusting. That is unforgivable. It's unconscionable to do something like that. My God.
Who do you think did it?
That's debatable.
Well, talk about Scottish independence for people that don't know why it's so important, because it's already sending shockwaves across the world.
Yeah. Well, what has happened to Scotland economically and socially has been as a result of Westminster's decisions. And traditionally, we've had a Conservative or Tory government in Westminster, which was never voted in by Scottish people. There'd be very, very few Scots who would vote for the Tory party. But because of the demographics of Britain as a whole, 2/3 of the British population lives in the southeastern section of England. So it's tilted in their favour for representation at Westminster. Now, eventually, they gave us what they call devolution in 1999. Sort of not real self-determining powers, but just to keep us happy. They chuck a couple of sweeties at us, as we like to say.
For people that don't know, that's why we have the Electoral College here as well. You can't let the more populous states outvote the other states and then basically make them their slaves.
Yeah.
And that's the same issue you're dealing with.
Yeah. And we always thought the Labour Party being against the Tories were our friends. And, of course, we find out now that's not true. The Labour Party were popular in Scotland because that was the only way they were going to retain enough seats in Westminster to maybe give them a chance to be in the government. Well, we saw what happened when Tony Blair won for the Labour Party. I kind of supported him when he came on the scene. I thought I understood what he was doing. He was shifting the sort of Labour theme more to the centre because, look, we got to do something to get the Tories out. But it turns out, no, he was a shill. Absolute shill.
We're going to come back and talk about the big vote coming up next week with Scottish John and find out why he calls himself Scottish John. And we'll open the phones up from folks from Scotland. Stay with us. Get your phones ready. You like that? I think the Empire is on the run. Scotland's about to say bye-bye. The globalists have controlled the mainstream media for a long time, but now they're expanding, making the weaponization even more vicious and deceptive. All the major networks are state-run.
We are partnering this year with the NFL.
The NFL has become a political weapon against the Second Amendment and pushes Obamacare. MSNBC tells us that our children belong to the state.
We have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities.
The brainwashing media machine has been turned up on high, And it's time for humanity to double down on the true people's media and strike back against the tyrants that are destroying our civilization with their lies and fraud. We are the resistance. You are the resistance. You are the info war. It is more important than ever to realize that we are not the alternative media. We are the true media. The establishment dinosaur press is dying.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
Join us at InfoWarsNews.com and PrisonPlanet.tv. Members can share their memberships with up to 11 people. By subscribing, you will literally be buying war bonds in the info war to expand our operation in the face of the tyrants. Join us at PrisonPlanet.tv.